Oh, that was faster than I expected. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning into the Vamp Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Lafferty. Here with us today is Eric Bloat from Bloat Games. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing awesome, sir. How are you doing today?
I am all right, just living the dream. It's very good to see you. Always glad when you stop by. And my talented and charming co-host joins us today. That is Jacob Blackman. How you doing, Mr. Blackman?
Charming and talented.
How are you not a model with a face like that, Jacob? I don't understand.
I can't do steel magnum or whatever it is. I refuse to do. I refuse to do it because all it is duck face, and I refuse to do duck face.
I admire your ethical stance on that issue, sir. Now, let's talk about We Die Young, RPG, supernatural role-playing in the 1990s. The dream of the 90s is alive in Portland, and also in Eric Bloat's latest Kickstarter. Tell us about this, Eric.
All right, so yeah, it's kind of what we're calling a spiritual sequel to Dark Places and Demogorgons. Mm-hmm. Dark Places and Demogorgons, obviously set in the 80s, had tons of references to the 80s. Like, we really tried to infuse that game with as much awesome 80s stuff as we could. So when we started on this game, I wanted specifically to make a game in the 90s and give it that same kind of love and awesomeness that we were able to pull off with Dark Places and Demogorgons, and put as much 90s stuff in there as we could. And then, you set in Seattle, so it's right at the beginning of the grunge music counterculture, all that type stuff. And there's also, you get a chance to play. You can play as humans, with all these different classes, or you can play as monster races. So, you got your vampires, your werewolves, your mummies, your fey creatures, your fairies, your ghouls, all kinds of stuff to really have fun with. All set to a backdrop of everything grunge. So, like, a lot of the spells are specifically like song titles from grunge songs and grunge bands and stuff like that. It's pretty fun. Usually when I write stuff, I don't like what I write right away. It kind of has to grow on me. This game, both Josh and I, who were the two people who created it, both Josh Palmer and myself, we love this game. We're really proud of this one. And that's kind of the 15 minutes or the 15-second spiel.
All right, cool. Well, let me ask you, if I'm playing this game, who am I fighting?
You're fighting against other supernatural creatures, or humans who are out to do you in. So, as with the being to survive this game, not only does this game come fully loaded with its own mini bestiary full of stuff, but it's also compatible with our cryptid manual for Dark Places and Demogorgons. So you got all the cryptids to deal with. You got what's up, Mr. Spawn? You got all the different creatures throughout America. Yeah, it is well supplied with adversaries. As well as dealing with, if you're just a vampire, you got to deal with your upline or rival vampires, or vampires versus werewolves, all that good stuff.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out, like, I played a lot of Werewolf back in the 90s. And let's say I was playing, werewolves in We Die Young. Am I fighting other vampires? I'm not fighting anything called the Worm. I'm very sure of that. But
correct.
What would I be doing as a young grungy werewolf wearing flannel and Doc Martens kicking around Seattle in We Die Young?
Exactly. Yeah. No. And actually, that game, the White Wolf games were an influence, but we tried to take their very basic premise and do something completely opposite. In the 90s, White Wolf killed it. They ruled the role-playing game industry. So we definitely wanted to do a tip of the hat, but all the creatures and stuff all have their own backgrounds, their own, particular issues. And so if you're playing just a werewolf, you may have to go up against vampires. They might be somebody who you have to fight. It depends all on how you align yourself and how you're set up. So the game is set up to where you can play a mixed bag of characters and creatures for your session, or you can play all as werewolves under one thing. Can I play a werewolf from the TV show? There's definitely some references to that TV show in particular in there. Yes. So yeah, definitely Walt.
One of the best werewolf shows there ever was.
I love that show.
Walt actually had an invitation to co-host this podcast, but apparently he would rather just make wisecracks in the comment section. So glad you could join us, Walt. I don't think the vampires sparkle, but I won't speak for you, Mr. Bloat. Can you confirm or deny that?
I will neither confirm nor deny if they sparkle. I think that's something that will be left, that will leave in perpetuity. I will say this: I'm not a fan of sparkling vampires. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, keep in mind these are supposed to be grunge vampires.
Right. This is pre-Twilight.
It's nice to remember there was a time in vampire culture pre-Twilight.
Yes. Definitely.
You guys ever seen oh God, what was the low stakes vampire comedy movie made into a TV show here in America? What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was in the movie version. They turned one of the just a local soccer hooligan into a vampire, and he's out at nightclubs telling girls, "Hey, you seen Twilight? Well, that's my." It was kind of funny.
My favorite quote from that movie is "We're werewolves, not swearwolves." I love that line as I stumble over it.
That was pretty good. Well, tell us more about what's going on with this game. You guys funded in like 5 minutes or something?
No, not that quick. We funded in just under 2 hours. And part of that is we got a couple different backer tiers. We got a $1 backer tier if you just want the PDF. $1's got you covered. If you'd like to get the print version, $24 will get you in the door. And then we got like a small gaming group / retail tier. $55 gets you 4 copies of the game. And so, and then we also got an option for international backers on there. Just so, basically we're trying to get everybody taken care of, trying to get this game to as many people as we can.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys doing what you do for, it's a rough time. People are struggling right now, and I appreciate you guys having that financial hardship tier for everybody. It's a generous thing you're doing, Eric. I want you to know we appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, I grew up not being able to afford books, role-playing game books, and having to always depend on my friends. And so that's definitely something that is very near and dear to our hearts here at Bloat Games.
Well, I got a question from Walt, who might be joining us here in a second, but he is wondering what kind of system you're using. Is it the hack, i.e. RPG hack? And it is not. It's the system from, well, why don't you take that question?
Sure. It's we call it our Survive This system, which it's a form of Dungeons and Dragons or D20 based system. Really, if you've played any version of Dungeons and Dragons except for 4th edition, you'll be able to pick this game up and play it in 5 minutes. You're going to see familiar things, attributes, hit points, classes, races, levels. All the familiar stuff is all there, just with our own flavoring, if you will. So this is, if D&D is a certain type of spaghetti, this is our recipe for spaghetti. Essentially, is what the system is.
All right, cool. And this is a meaty tome. We're looking at 300 pages.
Yes, yeah. We call it rules light, options heavy. We really wanted to get as much stuff in there as we could. Some of our games, we end up doing lots of Splat Books for, which is great. And I grew up a huge fan of Palladium books, so I'm a fan of all the Splat Books and stuff. Yep, Jacob's got them right there. But this one, we really wanted out the gate to have everything you needed to play and get a full and complete gaming or Survive This experience all in one book. And then, of course, you can always mix and match from our other Survive This games. They are all 100% compatible.
Vigilante City for the win.
Yes.
How you doing today, Walt?
I don't know yet. I was happy to see the bad podcast go live, so I was happy to, clickety clackety, and then you sent me the link, and now we are here.
You could play a werewolf named Balder in this game, Walt.
I could play a werewolf if I take off my shirt.
I don't think there are LARP options. LARP options. Perhaps a stretch goal, and maybe I can say it correctly with a stretch goal.
I will totally do a calendar for you, a werewolf calendar in a Speedo if you reach a certain funding goal. I have no shot.
Wow.
I see that look on. Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was going to say the first time I didn't actually want to hit a stretch goal. I don't understand it.
So could you run dogs? Could you run dog soldiers with this?
Yes, you could definitely do dog soldiers.
Oh my god, I love that movie.
Yes, and so do I.
No, one of the things I'm really excited about this is the fact that it is compatible with Dark Places and Demogorgons. So I could easily see how one could do a fun game like you're playing kids in the 1980s using Dark Places and Demogorgons, and then you bring out this new game here, We Die Young, when you're playing, you're getting out of high school, you're going into college, you're starting a career, starting a band, you've moved to Seattle to, as a change of venue. So, and just continue that same campaign, same rules, but a nice, fun, advanced system where, you could suddenly become, discover you're not just a kid, you're a fey creature, or you suddenly after a terrible encounter one day, you suddenly become a vampire or a werewolf. So I'm really liking the concept of We Die Young.
That was a huge part of our design process, was making sure you could do just that. Take characters from Dark Places and Demogorgons, age them up a little bit, and have a whole new experience, out on the West Coast. So yeah, that was a huge part of our design, goal for this game.
We should send the copy to Netflix so they have an idea what to do with like season 7 of Stranger Things.
Aren't they in their 30s now or something?
Yeah, those kids are complaining about the 401ks and lower back pain. It's been on the air for a long time. You don't even realize. So
that was another good werewolf movie too. That was absolutely just phenomenal. Was Late Phases?
Yes.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
What, dude?
I will have to hunt that down.
I tell you what, this week I have a little time. Let's get together and we'll stream it together online.
Well, okay. Well, we'll talk about that afterwards.
Yes. Yeah, Late Phases was this guy goes to a retirement home. He's going blind. He's a Vietnam veteran who used to be a badass during the day, but he's in his mid 60s, and because he's going blind, they have to bring him to a retirement community, and the residents start mysteriously disappearing. And him and his German Shepherd do some like Scooby-Doo action, and it's exactly what you think it is when you're talking about Faces of the Moon. So yeah, It was awesome, great movie.
Well,
I'll hunt that down.
I didn't know Walt was such a werewolf movie connoisseur.
You go on my that's why I like games like this, especially a lot of the stuff that Eric does are just like my jam. Like right within reach, I got my copy of The Monsters Are Our Heroes, right? And of course we have our friend Bob Sally, who also did Shelter Division. Yes, that is a Bigfoot wearing a hoodie on the cover. So but yeah, I love like any of that like werewolf movies and stuff like that. You go on my video queues, which I don't get to watch anymore, and they're just littered with, how come I'm the only one on the screen?
Because they made you big.
I see.
Yeah, you were showing off art. I thought it would want to, boom, blow it up.
Keep going.
Yeah,
yeah, gotcha.
No worries. Oh yeah, I don't know if you know, Eric. We did Monsters Are Our Heroes on as an actual play lunchtime beat 'em up a couple weeks back.
I did. I didn't see it live. I caught it after the fact, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed it.
That was so much fun. and Jacob did the Pod People from Mars kind of skipping it along, and oh my god, so much fun.
I Bloat Games, Eric, you have unleashed inspiration in me, the likes of which I can't tell you. But yeah, the Valor Knights was responsible for me doing this. And with Mike and everyone, and the Monsters Are Our Heroes especially really inspired me lately, because I have adventure ideas for that I've been writing up. I'm working on an expanded bestiary, so I have so many things that I am looking forward to doing with this game, and I can imagine that We Die Young will probably inspire a lot more once I'm able to get in my hands as well.
It could definitely, yeah, not mechanically, but definitely thematically, they run along a lot of the same parallels, and kind of what I'm finding is I grew up in the mid to late 80s. Is really when I was young. I was, probably like 10 years old. But those were the formative years for me. And what I'm finding is a lot of people who are gaming, who are our age, also went not just through those years, but they look back upon that time super fondly. And so those the stuff I put in the games are, a lot of people really resonate with. And I just love it because, it's stuff that I always thought was just me. I thought I was out here on a limb, but apparently not.
It's pretty cool stuff. Hey, speaking about cool stuff from your company, Hack the RPG, which was the system for Valor Knights, and then Monsters Are Our Heroes, and this thing that I did on Zine Quest, and you just had something on Zine Quest using that same Black Hack streamlined rule set.
Yes, yeah, I did. I did Destination Uncharted, which is kind of like an almost anime inspired, kids in space, kids Tomb Raider, that type of fun. It's a lot more lighthearted and bopping around. In fact, we're putting the finishing touches on that right now. Justin Isaac is writing the adventure to go in it, and it'll be done and ready for final proofreading. So we got that. That'll be officially coming out soon. And then, even further down the line, I have a game called Other Strangeness, which is going to be an anthropomorph game, kind of ode to the OTMNT based game. So that'll be out later this year from us.
Oh, nice.
So we definitely got. And I was about to say, and I know that y'all got some stuff coming as well. Don't you?
So I'm curious, since you're hitting so many classic genres from our childhood and formative years, you've done the Valor Knights, you're doing Other Strangeness. Are you going to do something along the lines of Space Barbarians or Masters of the Universe kind of thing? Yes.
The answer is 100% definitely yes. In fact, when I play D&D, I picture He-Man in my head. That's how I do it.
I want him.
So I will definitely get you involved in that. That's one of the ones that I'm still deciding what system to go with, but it's leaning towards the Hack the RPG system. I really like that system. It's streamlined. It's fun. And it doesn't take, like with We Die Young, there's over 300 and something pages of content. We can do a streamlined game for 50 or 60 pages of content, and still have that same kind of experience using the Hack the RPG system. So I really like that.
Oh, hey, Phil Stone. How you doing, sir?
What is
Two Masters of the
up?
Universe. I will pay you to draw that. Phil Stone, who's a freaking artist of Bloat Games and well is working for Wizards of the Coast
Yeah,
when he's not smoking a pipe or skateboarding.
When you said that when you play D&D, you picture Masters of the Universe.
Uh-huh.
Mike has a He-Man suit in that back closet right there. He puts on He-Man to play his D&D.
Wow.
Why is this on me now, Walt? You were talking about Speedos and werewolf calendars before, and all of a sudden,
I'm highly caffeinated and very motivated right now.
All of a sudden, I'm the guy with the pervert suit in my closet. What the hell?
Hey, have you seen my increasing toy collection?
Yes, I have.
I do subscribe to your Patreon, in which you do occasional comics about the Masters of the Universe. So yeah, I have.
Yeah, your Skeletor is spot on, by the way. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you got a link, we should probably throw that up in a banner since we're talking about it. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. I don't know if I got a bunch of stuff that I want to work on, and I've got some art. Jason Sunday, thank you, Jason, sent me for a crossover between Agents of Banff, which is kind of my G.I. Joe homage, and Valor Knights, which is kind of a cool idea because I've actually crossed over Transformers and G.I. Joe, so that'll be happening at some point. So yeah, we'll see what happens. It's I'm sure, as you know, Eric, it's there's always another idea, and there's just not always enough time.
Very much so, yeah.
So freaking true.
So, well, hey, coming up on 25 minutes, Walt, did you have? Oh, Loco, I like that. You have any other questions before we wrap up here, sir?
Nothing crazy, but what with We Die Young? What are some of the adventure stuff that you're going to have bundled in the game? Are you going to have some like introductory adventures so people who aren't familiar with that kind of a media can check it out?
We don't have real like full and complete adventures. What we do is we call them adventure seeds, and we give you enough basically for a 3 to 4 hour game, kind of a setup, a premise, and a villain or a monster or something, enough to get you going and playing. But there does require a little bit of bringing to the table. But we don't in the game. We don't have anything like any 40 page adventure or anything like that to get you started. So you're looking more between a 4 to 6 page adventure seed, but we got multiple of them.
Right on. That helps, especially if you buy this, you buy into this and get it funded, and you're you get it on the table and you don't know what to do with it. If you haven't seen stuff like Dog Soldiers, the Werewolf TV show,
right.
Any of these really cool movies that are out there.
Mm-hmm. And it does come with a full and complete what we call our Appendix N. So there is a ton of stuff to point people in the right direction who maybe are not familiar with this type of stuff. I think it's 4 pages now of recommended viewing, listening, reading, and all that type of stuff.
That's awesome.
Sweet. Hey, out of curiosity, you guys ever heard of a novel a few years back called Sharp Teeth?
No.
Nope.
Who's it by?
Advertising guy decided to quit his job and get into writing, named Toby Barlow. It's he was trying to write a modern werewolf epic, and it's set in modern day LA. The protagonist is a broken-hearted dog catcher who falls in love with a werewolf who has left her pack to find a new pack, and he gets there's a lot of fighting and action because it's a werewolf, but he gets really into interpack dynamics and
oh wow.
It's a fun little. I'm surprised it hasn't been made into a movie. But
Sharp Teeth. I'm gonna check that out. I loved the Love, Death, and Robots werewolf story. That was just amazing. I mean, just the cinematography of the way that they did that was just astounding.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Yeah, the guy's in Afghanistan, right?
Yep, absolutely astounding. And then the ending of that was also as epic. But I mean, there's been a lot lately where it's just perfect timing to bring this game out.
Well, we're just all talking about werewolves. I mean, there's also cryptids and vampires and fae and mummies.
Oh, yeah.
That's the great thing about having the 300 pages worth of material to play with, and we'll be doing updates on our for our backers over on Kickstarter. So if you back, you'll get updates as it's going, and we kind of got a plan to reveal different things. But there's so much that we've packed into 300 plus pages that we haven't scratched the surface on in this. And that's what's really exciting for me is when I say that we're giving people a full and complete role playing package. I really feel that way. This is kind of like having your player's handbook, your DM's guide, your monster manual, all in one complete tome. And so we're real excited about that.
Cool. Oh, you guys have just been kicking ass the last few years. You're gonna expand your franchise into like conventions? We're gonna see a Bloat. We
that funny enough, that is on the table. That is something that we definitely are looking to do in the future once everything kind of gets a little more back to normal.
That'll happen one day, I'm told. I'm hopeful. I'm getting the poke on Thursday, so
I've just been licking door handles.
That'll do it. I mean, I
was building up that immunity.
I was injecting Clorox for a while. Somebody told me it was a good idea. And, it worked. I didn't catch it, so it must have been a good thing. That and essential oils.
Essential oils.
I'm not sure what that means, but I've just been chugging olive oil. Shots. I'm sorry, Eric. We're talking about your game. I'm going off on terrible tangents. So, all right. So, just to sum up, We Die Young is on Kickstarter, funded in 2 hours. It's going to be running for 30 days.
It's going to be running 23 days. Yeah, it ends on April 29th.
Okay, cool. This is grunge-flavored 90s nostalgia, playing monsters in the Pacific Northwest. And although Walt and I are obsessed with werewolves, you can play all kinds of creatures. Are cryptids something you fight, or are they also a PC option?
They're currently they're something you fight. Yeah, they're not set up to be. They're more. We kind of classify them as lesser intelligent or more primal beings, I guess you could say, less human characteristics. So they are something that you have to deal with.
So I could play a werewolf in a hoodie, but not a Yeti in a hoodie. So all right, good to know. Cool. Still gonna check it out. We should do this on one of our Monday beat 'em ups once we get a copy of this PDF. And when do copies come out? I'm guessing shortly after 23 days has passed.
It's going to be a little bit longer than that. The book is 100% fully written and play tested, but it has not been laid out or been through layout or the art. And the art. Phil Stone is actually still killing it. He's doing all of our interior art for us. So we're working on the art, getting that in, getting the layout done. So it's going to be a few months, but it's not a huge turnaround. You're looking at. I always hate to say. I'm expecting 2 to 3 months, and you'll have the PDF in hand. Okay,
and then as they say, it's RPGs. There's always delays, so no one's going to hold you to that.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, cool. Well, we are at 12:30. Appreciate everyone for checking us out. Eric, always a pleasure to have you on, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
No worries. Any closing thoughts? Any last questions before we call it a show, fellas?
Give us that beautiful bean footage in the version of a link to that Kickstarter again. For anybody last ditching, just checking it out.
I can do that. I was putting up his Facebook page during the show just because that's much shorter than the link to Kickstarter. But boom, there we go.
There we go. Check that out.
We'll have that in the show notes too. But hey, if you just search for We Die Young RPG Kickstarter, it's going to be in the top 3 listing. So check it out. Eric does good game. You should back it. I did. And that's all we've got today on the BAMF podcast. Appreciate you checking us out, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.